Hi, my name is Joseph Flowers. I'm going to do a quick overview of nmap. Nmap is a network mapping tool. It comes pre-installed with Kali Linux, or you can download it for pretty much any OS. So let's get started. Nmap. Just typing nmap will bring up the basic -h or help. Gives us a list of some basic commands. I am currently testing on my home network. I have a small test network set up. So the basic syntax is nmap and an IP address with a subnet or a single IP address. Let's put that in right. That's not an IP. Now nmap has a lot of functions. This is just the basic one. It can take a while. You can specify targets, you can specify scanning techniques. There's different host discovery switches. If you look up here, there are many different scripting options. I am basically just going to go over some of my favorites. Let that run for another second. So we ran this with the standard timing. Timing is the capital T flag. So if we were to, I'll start another one. Nmap -T. That's timing. 3 is default. And you can slow it down. 2, 1 for low detection. 5 will give us the max, and it's pretty noisy, especially if you're running a bunch of different tests. Good example of it being noisy. Oh, hold on. Nmap, you can see it's sending out a bunch of ARP requests. We're pretty much targeting every single IP address on a subnet. So this only tests one network. You can't hop between networks. But you'll see some, especially when it starts running the scripting stuff, some interesting things running over requests. Let's go back here and see how my nmap is doing. Oops. So, one of my favorite things about this is just the ease of being able to save your formats. We have just the direction, which is pretty much what I like to do, just direct the output. I like to look at the output, but you can format it in greppable ways, in XML format, to where, say, you could put grep for just host names, grep for open, and then save the document that way. And this is what we just came up with. Pretty good list. No host names, but quite a bit of information here. Found. This is the 44 is the Metasploitable. Obviously you can see it has a lot of services running. I have a few other things running. This is a Squid DNS server, proxy server. So you can get some decent information out of just even the basic scan. Now the dash SV and dash SC are the ones I really like looking at. Well, I have that open. So if we run dash SVSC, this will scan for vulnerabilities and run common scripts against them. So as you can see, we bring up a lot more information here. This is just on a single device. This is a file server that I don't really have access to, an embedded system file server. You get some kind of names here, common processes on it. See, it obviously has some sort of web server process running on it. And we even get a little bit about the directory structure of the web service portion of it. Now if you run that on a full network, well, it just lights the whole thing up. I ran this actually at T5, so watching it on Wireshark was pretty interesting. You can see all the information here from the network. Brings up a lot more information. You get names quite often, all the different services open, potentially versions, potential hacks. We get RSA keys, host keys. That's pretty big. Seems like we find a few different servers. One of them obviously looks like it's showing up more than once. I have a server with just a bunch of ports on it. That guy. Scroll down here, a bunch of little Linux boxes. Let's go back to the start of this one, 44. Oh, this is meta. So you can see with the SVSC, we're bringing up a lot. He has a lot open going on here. And it gives us some ideas. Metasploitable. Where we go when you got past there? You get the. We go squid proxy again. This time we see his key. It has DNS open. It has XRDP open. Light web server process for management. Now, let's see if I can find it again. If we're looking for all the hosts, some hosts won't respond to just basic ping command, so it's almost easier to run an initial scan. It takes longer, but using the ping sweep and TCP connect, especially if you're looking for, say, web servers. So running that, it looks like it'll run through every IP address and just try to connect. So then you can see this takes quite a bit longer, but it brings up quite a bit also. We don't get host names with this one, but it would be a good initial start to crawl this onto a network, probably running slow so you're not generating too much traffic. But as you can see, this one also timed out on the switch, whereas the other one brought up the SVSC, brought the switch up. But it does let us know that there's a host there. I really like all the information we got here. There's definitely some stuff you could use to try and test out different vulnerabilities. Let's see what else can we talk about. So I showed a few of the basic commands. So you can do, let's say you don't want to do a full scan, you just want to list the targets. That's dash lowercase s, capital L. You can disable port scanning with dash S, N. Obviously you can do subnets, single. You can also do multiple hosts with just the comma, or say multiple times timing protocols. You can check all of the ports as opposed to just the top 1000, which we brought up some stuff on the file server doing with the full. It came up with some stuff over 3333, which it looks like is a custom port for management with some Googles. And then you can, with the scripting engine, you can search scripts. You can use some common scripts. So you say you type, say we do 3 dash equal to, let's throw in some HTTP scripts. So you can be pretty loose with the scripting engine. Oh, and I did it again. So it'll run through the HTTP scripts that are on there. You can run non-intrusive scripts. There really is just a lot to do with the scripting generator. There's an HTTP-sitemap-generator. We'll bring up sitemap. That's pretty nice. Probably one that's starting soon. Oh no. So this is going to take a while. I'm not going to let it run all the way through. You can run a whois query on them. SQL injection script. Let's say you want to do some evasion. Obviously you can do it slow. You can run with tiny fragments. That's the dash F. You can set your MTU offset size. That would definitely help. You can dash D, capital D for decoy. Set fake IP addresses. So it recommends using a list for that, so that way you're sending out from multiple IP addresses. Good ones would probably be spoofing actually other systems, say even the router. Say scan from, if you want to do DNS query, Microsoft, Facebook, something like Google. You can just put that in with the dash S. You can also use custom APIs. I tried the Google one. I really didn't get anything with that. Obviously, I'm on my home network, so there's not much to gather. I imagine the Shodan one would be pretty interesting. Running on a system that had open IP cameras. There's also, let's see, I went over the grepables, normal file, XML format you can do. So those are all O for output, dash O, and then N for normal, X for XML, capital G for grepable. A for all does all three of those at once. And then you can also do like packet tracing. Some other interesting ones I found. You can do a trace route. You could set up, say, even dummy scans with a bot. Oh, something important though, Control C, is, let's say you're actually targeting a network in a test, not from inside, well, you really don't want them to see who you're coming from, so I would definitely recommend using proxy chains. So that's pretty easy, just proxy chains. So you set up your proxy chains, it's pretty easy. And then you would run nmap that way. Nmap. Oops. So I just proxied through myself to give you an idea, but it's proxying from me to, it's using my loopback, but as a proxy with port 8080, and as you can see, it still goes. And we ran the full list. You can actually see it found quite a bit. But I would definitely, if you're running actually an actual test against something outside of your personal network, outside of the local network, I would definitely be running proxy chains to spoof the IP address. Preferably more than one, so proxy chains is pretty easy. Cat pretty much just set it up in a proxy chains config file. Some good examples of use. Put the protocol, the proxy's IP address, the port they're using, whether or not there's a login. So this is what I was just using now. 127 port 8080. Pretty simple proxy chain I had set up for my web crawler. And I think that's a pretty good overview of nmap. Definitely use proxy chains if you're going to be scanning out in the wild. Proxies are a little tricky to set up. Not hard, but you just have to do some digging. Quick Google search will bring up free proxies. You have to test them out, see if they're working, because they go up, they go down. Some proxies obviously were great. A lot of people set up their own proxies or would set up, say, botnets as proxies. But nmap overall, very powerful tool. Definitely recommend using proxy chains in the wild, and saving all your results and digging through it is kind of fun. Thank you for watching this video.